Hey my friends, welcome to another video. My name is Hazel, as you guys already know. Some of you like to ask me what is my name because a lot of you are new and you don't know my name. My name is Hazel, and in this video we're going to be talking about Tanzania. I have some people who are asking me questions about staying in Tanzania, working in Tanzania, and all that good jazz. So we are going to talk about that kinds of things. In this video, I'm just going to give you an outline of some of the things that you will be seeing on my channel in the members section concerning moving to Tanzania, life here as an expat or as a diaspora, because many of you have so many questions and you want to know a lot of things, but I cannot put certain things out there. Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to work in Tanzania because a few people have asked me about that, so we'll talk about that today. So working in Tanzania, how to work in Tanzania and make money here in Tanzania. So first of all, the question you have to ask yourself is, what kind of skill do you have? That's the first question. If you're a person who doesn't have a skill, maybe you're working at McDonald's or you just like a laborer, like something like that, I don't think you're going to be able to find a job here with that kind of skill, like working at McDonald's or just being a general laborer or something like that. Yeah, that's not going to fly here. But if you're a person and you have like a degree and you have a career and you want to transfer it here in Tanzania, that would be great. For example, if you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, if you're an accountant, if you make natural skincare products like me, if you're a teacher, if you're a firefighter, any of those career positions, if you are English teacher, this is a great demand here for English teachers because in Tanzania they speak Swahili. So any one of those things that I mentioned, if you are qualified to do any one of that, yes, you can work in Tanzania. The second thing is, how do you go about the process of getting a job here? So the first thing you can do is get yourself with an agency. Now there's many agencies out there. I am not going to give you any names specifically because not all of them is very legit. Okay, so you have to find an agency that is legit and you have to do your own research on your own, because I don't want to tell you, oh, use this agency, then you use it, then you say, oh, I gave you a wrong agency, da da da. Okay, go out there, find an agency. But I'm going to tell you some pointers when you're going to find an agency, because I did use an agency, right? And I was drafted for a job. Okay, so when you're looking for agency, the first thing you want to look for is an agency that does not ask you for any money whatsoever. If you get an agency and they're asking you for money, then this is not a good agency. They are a scam. This is number one. Number two, a next thing an agency does not do is tell you that they're going to give you board, they're going to pay for flights for you, all that stuff. Like, no, they don't do that. If you have an agency and they're telling you all that stuff, like, this is fake. Okay, you're going to be spending your money, getting yourself prepared to go somewhere, and there's going to be no job for you when you get there. Okay, and usually when they tell you, oh, they're going to pay for your flight, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, it's usually not for the thing that you want to do. If you want to be a teacher, if you want to be a nurse or whatever, say this is the two positions that you want to apply for, and you get an agency and they tell you that is a scam for something else. They may pay for you, and as far as you know, when you get there, it might be some kind of servant or a slave. So don't take those kind of chances, okay? So no, they don't pay for stuff for you. They get the job for you, then the employer is going to contact you and you make the arrangement with the employer. That's how the agency works. And then the agency gets a cut from the employer. Okay, the employer who's going to employ you pays the agency. That's how it works. And I know a lot of people get scammed this way by paying agencies money to help them get jobs. But a legit agency does not do that. So I'm telling you these things so you don't get caught in this trap, okay? Point number 3 with an agency is when you get a proper agency, they would ask you to give them some information, like you know, where you live, your position, whatever. Now, agency is not going to ask you a whole life story. They're just going to ask you some very simple things like, you know, what degree you have, how long you studied for, high school, primary school. They're going to ask you levels of education. They're going to ask you like experience, ask you to write a little synopsis of your characteristics, your qualification, what kind of person you are, you know, like where you went to school, what's your experience in the workforce, stuff like this. They're going to ask you. And then they're going to make a profile. They're going to ask you for your telephone number. They're going to ask you for your address. And then they're going to make a profile of you based on what they ask you. And then this is how they're going to be positioning you to different schools, or if you're a nurse to different hospitals, if you are a computer technician, to different companies who want this kind of employee. Okay, that's for that. No, the thing they're not going to ask you for, they're not going to ask you to put in your driver's license, put in your social insurance number, all that kind of stuff. They're not going to ask you for that. Like, they're not going to ask you for your degree, like your certifications, to put it in. They're not going to ask you for that. If an agency start asking you for all that stuff, then they're not legit. Okay, so don't do that. These are people who are trying to steal your information. The agency will ask you the questions like I mentioned before, and then once a prospective employer sees you and they think that you fit the match for the job that they advertise for, they will personally contact you and ask you for the information that is needed for that specific job. For example, me, when I use a specific agency, the school contacted me, and then I had the interview with the school, and then I gave them my information, and then we were able to talk about salary and all that kind of good jazz. But I didn't have to do that for the agency. So I just want to tell you that, okay? Because a lot of people are getting scammed, paying a whole lot of money to travel to African countries, and they're getting scammed. So I want to come out upright and upfront to give you guys that kind of information. So they're not going to ask you for that, but the employer, they're going to ask you for that. And the employer is not going to ask you to pay for anything. That's the next thing. So I think we're at 4. So the next point is, once the employer decides to hire you, they're going to pay for you. They're going to pay for your ticket. They're going to pay for your boarding. They're going to give you a salary, right? So the employer does that. And whichever country that you're going to, they're going to sponsor you in the country so you can get your status as like a working permit, or whatever status the country require you to have, whether it's be a teaching certificate. It depends. In Tanzania, it depends on the job that you're applying for. So if you're here in Tanzania and you're going to be a teacher, you're going to need a teaching certificate, and you're going to need some immigration status, which is like a residency status. Okay, so they're going to they're going to apply for that for you. Okay, so I'm telling you all that stuff so you don't get stuck. You don't be crying to me going on the internet saying, oh my gosh, I was scammed. I see so many people being scammed. They say, oh, I come to Tanzania and I was scammed. I come to Tanzania and I was scammed. So yeah, so this is how you do it, and they will pay for you, and sometimes they will do everything else except buy your ticket for you. That's normal. So if you get a company and they say, listen, we'll sponsor you, we'll do this, we'll do that for you, then, but you have to bring yourself there. That's okay. You bring yourself there. Most of the companies, they don't do that. They just pay for everything together. So it's a hit and a miss. It depends on the company who hire you, and it depends on the profession that you're applying for the job for. Okay. And the last thing is, before you get to your destination, you would have your paperwork in your hands. Okay. Before you get to your destination, they will send it for you, so when you get to the airport and you go to immigration, you will show them that paperwork so you can be in the country legally. So you're not gonna come here looking for a visa, waiting for this company to do this for you, that, and maybe it may never pan out, and you just waste your time and your energy and your money to take a plane ticket, a plane ride. So these are some of the things I'm gonna talk to you about in this video. And in the next video, I'm gonna also talk about some more things, and I'm gonna get into some more depth about certain things. And so yeah, so that's basically the process of getting hired in a company. And when you come here, you're gonna have your room and board and accommodation, and everything will be taken care of. So don't get scammed. Don't leave your house and come to a place and get scammed. Make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you have all your facts straight before you come here. A question I was asked is, can you come here as a RECE? Yes, you can. And again, the process is still the same. You have to apply. For the RECE, you have to apply to the school. You can apply to a school on your own. Like, you don't have to get an agency. You can look and see which schools need people to work, and you can do that. But the agencies are good because they have like a wide database. Sorry, they have a wide database of schools that need teachers, and so they can put you in front of a lot of people because the schools are always looking for specific things. So early childhood educator is it's not a hard job to get in any African country that is lacking in that field or has low numbers when it comes to early childhood educator, because I'm an early childhood educator. So yeah, I know that that's a question people have asked me. So that's basically that for now. I don't want to make the videos too long because I'm making a whole long series. I want to keep it really short. And you guys ask me any question you want. And if you want me to talk about specific things, I will talk about it also. Many of you wanted to know about shipping, vehicles, this, that, the other, all that good jazz is coming. All right, guys. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.